7 verse 14. Paul writes, "For we know that the law is spiritual, but I am carnal, sold under sin." Here, Paul is talking about the law of Moses again, and this verse is actually a quick in and out. Paul is just making the same point, really, to start with, that he did in verse 12. If you'll remember, he said, "Wherefore the law is holy, and the commandment holy, and just and good." He brings this over, and he really hit that point home just to make the point that it's not God's law that's causing the problem that he's describing here in chapter 7, because God's law is holy, it's perfect, it's just, and it's good. And so he's saying, but I, and that's important because the problem is in us. And he says, but I am carnal, sold under sin. And one of the things that we have to remember here is that Paul is saved. He's born again. He's an apostle at that, writing 14 books of the Bible. But here he is, he's recalling the time when he did not understand the finished work of Christ. He was saved. He had a saving knowledge of Christ. But he did not understand how the Christian is to walk in victory over sin, which we must understand that the cross dealt with that sin nature. Jesus Christ broke the power of the indwelling sin nature. He fulfilled the law. He paid the sin debt. He defeated the world, the flesh, and the devil. And all of this gave the Holy Spirit legal right to operate in our heart and life, dispensing grace that we would have the law fulfilled in us. By power and person of the Holy Spirit, when we understand that finished work, when we keep our faith placed in that finished work. If any man be a disciple of mine, let him deny himself and carry his cross daily. Hold steadfast in the liberty which hath made us free, lest any man should boast. For by grace it was by faith that we were saved. And so that same sentiment is to be held onto, only knowing that the sin nature can and will remain silenced in our heart and life, bringing us out from underneath the letter of the law unto the sweeter shores of grace, that we would no longer be carnal, sold under sin as we were. We were before salvation. We only had our own reasoning capacity, our own willpower to try to live what we thought was righteous. And then after salvation, not understanding the cross of Christ, we see the apostle struggle, which really exacts much of the struggle we see in modern Christians today. And that's important. That even as saved souls, we can be under sin. We can be sold under sin, like Paul's describing here, when we don't understand the finished work and how we don't have to stay there on a daily basis. And that's important. So that's Paul's account. The law is holy. It's us in our relationship to it. We want to be dead to it, and that's only done by faith in what Jesus Christ did at the cross. God bless you guys.